Alright guys, welcome back to another layout update. This one's going to be for November of 2020. So, not too much on this side. We're focusing more on the other side. That's where most of the stuff is. But did get everything back in here finally. So, same old, same old. Got well, that's something I'll mention in a future update, that little project. But get over here. So just starting with the peninsula, we'll work our way around, get to the rolling stock last. But first thing I'm going to mention is right here. I got a piece of plywood and some 1x4s that are out, getting spray painted out in the backyard. And basically they're going to be a panel. So 1x4s come down and I got some hinges and I'll just have it flip up and a little latch or something up front and it'll swing down. I need to work on it, swing up. I'm not. I was trying to figure out how to fit a large enough panel in here, not get in the way of the bookcase shelves that I'm going to add. So it's probably going to be my workaround. And eventually we're going to put plywood sheathing all in here to actually do bookshelves and make it look nice and all that. And I'll probably take the 1x4s out at that point. But that'll be enough to get them in for now so I can work on getting that wired up. So that's that. If we swing over here to the other side, we'll do the rolling stock glass. I'm pretty sure this one was up in the last update. That module right here. So nothing new there. But the big thing that's new for this one is the next module is in. So this is the one for the engine terminal. And basically what it's going to do is, if I can get to the piece of track. That's a very slightly off representation, but basically with the engine terminal module, so I did that. I got to put a couple more supports in on this end, put a diagonal, put a piece over, so that's why the turntable has a little bit of a, wiggle in it. And also in the course of doing it, I found out this ain't actually cut straight on the sides. It's square, but it's not truly square. So that's I should be able to fix that with a jigsaw and a lot of sanding. So I'll figure out some way around that. But that back there is the 2 turnouts and the curve turnout. 2 turnouts in the curve section. And then of course we got a Pico number 7. To the left is going to connect that curve section to that and then connects up to this. I got this in here and the Sobra bed over here was way too low, so I had to raise it up. That's done. It matches once you bend that down like it's supposed to be. And you have 3/4 plywood top on this. So it gives you an idea where it is. And then if you remember, you got the as per track plan that, and the outer leg is a continuous run. Well, reverser section, not a continuous run that punches through the backdrop. So operationally, on the other side, I might just pretend like that's a pulpwood spur and abandoned track. There's plenty. By this point, there were a couple of abandoned coal branches, so it would definitely fit. But otherwise, it's basically a reverse loop. So you're coming in this way, you can run around it, out here around the peninsula on the other side, through the backdrop and back. Or if you're coming this way, you can pull through, stop, and back through, and then you reverse. So that, and the other thing is, technically, once I get all this track in, while I'm still working on all the rest of it, it is a reverse loop. So it would technically allow me to run from staging over here, come out, do your switching, and then go back around. So it would still pretty much be the same operations as we're going to have, just the through passenger and the scheduled freight doesn't stop, and the mine run for the time being, while all this over here is being built that's actually going to run on. I can have it run out of the yard, run around the air side, come up the reversing section track into staging. And so the same ops, just slightly tweaked, but I am looking forward to that. The really big thing this does, though, is now that I already had an idea where this was going to sit, now that this is in, we know where it is, and the really good news is it confirmed where I want to put this. So as you can see, we still got a couple inches. This is probably going to sit like that, which fortunately also means you'll notice the frog wires and where we put the turnout machines on both of them actually clear the joist, which is very good. And I've got about a 2-inch lip back there, give or take, for scenery. So that's going to be pretty good. And then this comes straight out to the end of the peninsula and loops. So this is technically your main line. They say it's 2024, but in reality it's more like a 1824. This is 2428, so your main line, outer track, and then the inner. This becomes your switch lead access. And then this becomes, I'm going to vision it as a roundhouse supply track, pretty much. So boxcar parts, inbound SAM for the diesels, tankers of diesel fuel, that sort of stuff. And then the other thing that did is it also confirmed, this is one of the big puzzle pieces back here, is where all this stuff goes. So it basically confirmed my hunch that I'm pretty much going to be able to, you got the turntable and fit, and in terms of actual stalls, fit 1, 2, 3, first stall right there, and then the rest of that space in there, I'd be able to put a couple of garden tracks. And then, of course, all of them have toggles wired in so we can turn them off so you don't have a bunch of engines sitting there idling. But the whole placement fits, and the very, very nice part is most of those, well, that would put the inspection pits on all 3 of these stalls over the gap right there. So the thing I was really hoping I'd be able to do with these is, I don't remember if there's actually inspection pit moldings in the Walther's kit, but if there's not, I was going to hollow it out, kind of trim it out, and glue some of those Pico Code A3 inspection pits in there. So one of those two, that's the plan anyways. But this whole back corner was like the puzzle piece that I needed to fit in before we went any farther, because obviously this tells you multiple things. It tells you where the roundhouse is going to be, tells you where the engine terminal lead tracks are going to be. So it'll come out like that. This frame still has to come over to there, that little connector piece. But it also confirms the turnout, and that gives me that angle, which is what comes out, and we lay the whole yard out on and then fit it. So that is what's going on with that module. I'm going to get that one finished. The other thing we're doing is programming track is in. Yes. I got to relay the track. I had to kind of force that, but I was going to have to trim that turnout section and take all this track up anyways. So this does have to get relayed. For now, it's resting on some blocks right there. Eventually, I am going to put a shelf, the plywood here, and go about 4 inches down to about here, and put another shelf, and then the gap in between, I'm going to cover with fascia from the bottom up to the top here. Put the fascia on a hinge, have it hinge out, and basically in this hole, I'm going to have a UP5 and 120 volt outlet to plug tools and stuff into. And then the outlet that's hanging down right there is just going to get replaced with a junction box. So, and I've got a little spot there for the DC power pack, although I might also leave a cavity down there for it. I don't know. But the rest of it is just going to be in. I might put a shelf for manuals. I got a pull-out thing for a keyboard. I was really hoping to fit it there, but it's too long for the width. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to either add some more 2x4 pieces and put some screw holes through it and mount it to the bottom of these, or add the same bracing, carve out this just a hair and mount it in the gap right here. So one of those two, I'll figure out which. But that's what I'm kind of having Will work on, and then once he's done with that, we're going to go over. I'm going to have him go over there and get the get this taken care of. Just top shelf needs to be trimmed, and then the bottom one there, get it spray painted, get the drawer slides, and then we're going to get plywood, and we're going to face all three sides of this with the plywood and spray paint it white. Spray paint that bottom shelf white, so you can see everything in there, and get the fans remounted and wired in. So that's what's going on with that. Got the control panel outside with the paint drying, like I said. I'll show that when I get it in. It's going right there. Just turnouts that I've got. So that's it as far as bench work. Now, as far as rolling stock, we got a few things. So, no. Before rolling stock, I knew there was something else I was forgetting. As I make you walk around. So I've been doing some construction stuff for one of the guys from the club. And as part of the payment, I did a little bartering with him, and I got 8 Taurus switch machines. And they're even labeled. So obviously I'm going to go in, I'm going to wire up all 8 leads. But that's going to last me a while. And that gets me about 3/4 as far as what I need for all the total number of Taurus switch machines I need. So got that. And then also, speaking of Taurus switch machines, our thing I did was I reversed the throw bar, and I was able to do this without having to take the turnout up, which I'm very glad for. But I did that, and I got another switch machine mounted, wired up all 8 leads. I used that 4-connected telephone cable, looped it around to the terminal block right there. So all 8 wires for that one are hooked up, and that also means all 3 of these are done. And then the panel down there is going down there. I'm going to have 2 DS64s on it, one for this end of the staging yard, one for that end of the staging yard, as well as the circuit breaker, place the wires for the toggles, turn the tracks on and off, and terminal blocks for the indicator LEDs to go with it and all that stuff. So that is bench work. That's the Tauruses. The only other thing I've done with wiring is I have slowly been going through and tying all this together. I got all the feeders tied in. I need to cover them in liquid electrical tape, but I am going to wait, and at some point here soon, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in get some Alligator clip leads and hook up to the command station and fire this up and see how well all this stuff runs. And then once I get the panel in, I'm going to jury rig some sort of temporary 12-volt supply to get these tortoises going. Run a loco net cable temporarily and just plug in my DT400 non-radio version I got with the Super Chief I bought secondhand. So if nothing else, I will have this powered, give me a place to at least run back and forth and flip these. And the other thing that'll allow me to do is if I do that now, it'll give me plenty of time to just test run all this and get all the fine tuning done, all the little bits and pieces, So that way, by the time we do get over here, and I do add the staging deck on top of this, it's the branch line terminus, New Straitsville on top of this, I know everything runs well. And it'll give me a spot to run. So that's benchwork and electrical. Last thing to go over before we call this a wrap is rolling stock. And this time I got a couple things. So starting at the left, this is not all stuff I bought. This is, stuff I bought and stuff I've been working on. So starting from the left, these two, this one I got off of Will. I gave it, doesn't show up very well on camera. It shows up better in person, but I gotta go back and fix the details at some point. But for now, I just gave it metal wheels, painted the metal wheels, and then gave the whole body an ink coat, and then made sure the couplers are at the right height, strip pins are at the right height. On this end, no, which end is it? Oh yeah, the coupler boxes kind of came apart on me. No, they didn't. This end, I had to re-glue it, and the lid disappeared, so I put a Katie coupler box lid. This end, the whole molded on box snap, so I just glued on a Katie coupler box. So did that. This one, got the same thing. The ink coat took this a good hunk more. And did the whole thing with painting the wheels and the couplers and trip pins as well. So those are the ones I've modded. Did get a couple okay. I'll include this. I got this off of Will. It's an Athearn RTR. So I really haven't done too much of anything to it other than I gave it the wheel paint treatment, coupler and trip pin check. To get this assembled as a kit, went ahead and converted it to Katie boxes. I actually had separate boxes, but I never did this. And this irks me because now, even though the door is open on it, and it's got the floor, well, you can't see it on camera, but it has simulated wood, molded wood planking inside. Whoever did this glued the car to the floor, which means I can't get the shell off to weather the floor. So, go figure. But got that kit assembled. The coupler boxes, like I said, were separate details. They've been molded, so I just up and put Katie. What did I? Yeah, I just put Katie box covers on. Put Katie coupler boxes on there too. Converted that. And then these last two are purchases from the Bowling Green show. So, first one is a Katie L&N 40-foot PS1 boxcar. Build date on this thing is 6/50, so it's not going to get too much of a weathering job. Really, really light. But it's Katie. So at this point, I've got enough freight cars. I got plenty of coal hoppers. I got enough freight cars that I'm going to go ahead, and now that I got enough quantity, most of the stuff I pick up from now on is, and I'm glad I can, to the point where I can go ahead and start doing this, is going to be stuff like this. The Katie, the Air Mountain, the Bowser, all that good stuff that's got the detail and everything else on it. And I do have two DT&I boxcars on the way. One's a Walther's Mainline, and the other's a Bowser that I ordered while we were on vacation. So that, and then the last purchase, also at the Bowling Green show, is a Pennsylvania, I think X23 passenger express reefer in the 1935 scheme. This is going to be on run-through service every now and again. But it's a Walther's Proto, so not much bottom detail, but what there is done well. The trucks on this thing are very, very nice. Of course, Katie coupler boxes, Katie couplers, and then very, very good roof detail as you'd expect from them. So we'll try and find some prototype photos for Ben to weather that off of. I don't know how successful I'm going to be. figure. So that will probably stay unweathered for a while. But so that's pretty much progress as far as upcoming stuff. I'm filming this on Saturday morning, and this afternoon we're heading out. We're going up to the, good grief, Eagle Mountain Railroad up in Dunlap, the live steam group. So be looking forward for the 2 videos of that. Just got a rail fanning video uploaded. There's an SCSX, also threw in some Huntsville, Madison County, and some NARM stuff because there wasn't enough clips of those 2 to do a whole video on just them. So I'm like, yeah, we'll throw it in here, make it a little longer. And then also I'm going to throw in at the end of this video clips of 2 other projects I've gotten done. A Metro F40PH that I put a DH126 in for Will. And a running clip of the 210-2 I bought off a bin that I was going to get it, and I put the drawbar in, it snapped, so I ended up drilling and tapping a hole in the tender, put a screw through it, put a hole through the drawbar, and the screw goes through the hole in the tender and the hole in the drawbar, and that's basically what I did to fix it. So like I said, I'll throw those 2 clips in, Metro's Will's Metro F40 and my 210-2 Proto 2000. Which, oh man, I'm excited about that. So I'm calling the engine fleet done. I'm selling off a couple things. I'm going to put that back into the decoders. So that's what's coming up. That's going to pretty much do it for this. Hopefully I'll have Will over here Sunday. We'll see what we can do. But that is one of the big things that is very, very nice to have. So get that done. Then I can come over here, get these 2 modules. That will give us the point on this side where it goes through the backdrop. Then figure out where it goes to backdrop over here. Then we can come over here at the hole, get some 1-inch foam around all 4 sides, paint it gloss black, and then paint it dull black to give it so the train just kind of fades through and you don't notice that. And then at that point, we can come over here, come around the edge, come all the way down this wall with the backdrop, get the backdrop up here, and then get the valance finished clear down this way. Get the lighting in, get all that done. And at that point, do the lift out, and we'll be on to this wall. And at that point, we'll be doing bench work on this side, track work right here, and more wiring in this area. So then we'll finally be able to run something. So, all right, guys, you know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe. Oh, and Christmas coming up, so look for a layout update. For Nolan's, I have it in the works. Need a few more clips, and I'll have it out. As well as in December, a year in review of both his layout and my layout. So that's going to do it. You guys know the drill. Comment, like, hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you get notified. All the stuff that the YouTube algorithm likes. That's why I say it. But yeah, as always, take care. God bless. Merry Christmas. And I'll see you on the next video.